Hi, this is Charlie from Tropical Birding and welcome to this video trip report from this year's northern Spain trip. This is a trip that runs after the central and southern Spain trip, the European Intro Tour. Here's a PDF that accompanies this video. It's got an itinerary, a link to this video trip report and a link to the eBird trip report, so please check that out. Let's have a quick look at the Tropical Birding website for northern Spain. As usual, it's got lots of nice photos and some important information. It's got a map there. It's a 7-day trip. Again, physically pretty easy. And as I said before, runs back to back with the European Intro Tour, the Spain Central and Southern trip. And they complement each other very nicely. There's quite a lot of birds that you only get on one or the other. And sometimes if you miss a bird on the first one, you can pick it up on the second. So it works quite nicely. And it's also nice to see more of the country, very different areas, different culture, different scenery. Let's start, as always, with a map of the region. Here you can see the yellow points in the northeast here. Northern Spain trip is in and out of Barcelona. There's 3 main areas covered on the tour. The first are the Pyrenees mountains, second some plains at the base, and then also some wetlands along the coast. So a good variety of different habitats. So the tour starts in Barcelona International Airport, and our first birding stop was actually right next to the airport in a place called Delta de Llobregat, seriously 5 minutes away. And it was a fantastic start, really nice wetlands there. Even in the parking lot, we had great views of spotless starling and breeding plumage. Yeah, lots of nice water birds, black-winged stilts, grey-crested grebes, little grebe, little egret, and some nice shorebirds as well, common redshank, wood sandpipers. And we walked out to the coast here as well, where there was a nice viewpoint. We were looking out to sea. We had some nice seabirds, including Yelkouan Shearwaters. And from here, we had quite a drive getting to where we were staying for the night, which was up in the Pyrenees, in a place called the Hecho Valley. It was it may have been about a 3-hour drive, but just an amazing location. Here's a spot. We stayed in a village called Ciresa, just above the town of Hecho. Very charming, very local feel, not very touristy. And from the village, we drove up into the mountains, up a valley, kind of forested valley. Had some lovely birds like this common firecrest. Play you a little bit of its song, very high-pitched song. Another one of our targets up here was a white-throated dipper. Also got a bit of video footage of this very charming bird. Yeah. We moved higher up the valley, got quite rocky, very lush, mossy trees. The road passed through a very narrow gorge with lots of rocks, and this is quite a famous spot for one of the big target birds called wall creeper, and we looked quite hard for this bird, didn't manage to find it. Some years it can be quite difficult. We moved higher up the valley into more open habitats with some different birds. Here you can see the kind of open habitat we were birding. Really very scenic, just stunning place. As well as some nice birds, we had alpine marmots, which are very cute, kind of gopher-type animals. And a nice variety of birds, including dunnock, which is in the accenter family. Back to the hotel at night, we went to a local pub where I enjoyed a fondue, cheese fondue. Real typical Pyrenean dish. The next day, we went chasing some high-elevation birds up near the French border. We did see some nice Alpine Choughs, but the higher up we went, it got quite snowy. You can see some snow on the ground here. So this is April. Some water pipits also we saw, But yeah, we got higher and higher close to the French border, and then it was just a whiteout. The snow started coming down, so we had to turn around and come back. But yeah, quite nice to see snow. So we came back down and went back up the Hecho Valley, where it wasn't snowing quite as much. And we saw some very nice birds. Yeah, some of the things we got were like European robin, common chaffinches. This was a marsh tit. Got a little bit of video of it singing. Very charming little bird. As you can see, it was snowing here as well. And as we hiked up, yeah, we got right up into the snow. So we met a local national park ranger, and they put us on to some interesting birds. So we went up a side valley, and one of the birds we've been looking for high up in the mountains had actually sort of come down a little bit into these agricultural areas. And yeah, this was one of the birds we were really looking for, called the Citril Finch. And we got really nice views of it, quite a bit lower than it's normally found. We went through some lovely woodland in spring with these fresh green leaves. Yeah, a lot of steep gorges. Very, very scenic. Yeah, I just love this kind of habitat. But yeah, this was one of the big targets here in the Pyrenees. That's the bearded vulture, also known as the lammergeier. Quite scarce, but yeah, we were put on to a breeding pair that was found in this this side valley. So that was really nice to catch up with those, and we got great views. We had other raptors as well, lots of red kites flying around. Yeah, and after 3 nights in the Pyrenees, we started making our way down. It was a lovely time. It was really one of my favorite parts of all my stay in Spain was the Pyrenees. Really, really charming area. Lovely people. Just beautiful scenery. I just love mountain scenery. And this is coming down. Yeah, a lot of these kind of green fields. And yeah, this was a place that we were staying. We had quite a lot of coffees here. Made good use of that coffee machine. Very good coffee. Nice breakfast. Very friendly people. As I mentioned, we've been looking quite hard for the wall creeper, and we hadn't found it in our time in the Pyrenees. And on the way to our next location, we stopped in at a place called Mallos de Riglos, which is also quite mountainous. This is a bit more of a touristy town. It's got some really spectacular scenery as well. But we went to the parking lot and then walked towards the rock faces, and we had to follow these little white marks with vultures on them. It's quite a famous place for vultures. And these are these rock faces I was talking about. Yeah, obviously plenty of good habitat for wall creepers. And we spent quite a bit of time looking for them. This is quite a reliable site for them, but again, we didn't manage to find them. I think it was a difficult year. But beautiful place. We did see a lot of vultures here. Eurasian griffins, again, Eurasian vultures, and also Egyptian vultures, an endangered species. From Mallos de Riglos, we went down to the plains to a place called Belchite. This is a very historical town, site of a very important battle in the Spanish Civil War. The town was half destroyed, and in the end, Franco was victorious. And he said afterwards that the ruins of this town should be left and shouldn't be restored, just so people could remember the sort of horrors of the war. So this is quite a famous place for historical tourism. Not as fancy as some of the other places we've been staying, but still very comfortable. In the hotel itself, they had a bird painted on the wall, which is actually the bird that we were there to see, called the Dupont's Lark. So the next morning, we went to the local bird reserve called Planeron. Some interesting animals there. Got European rabbits. Had nice views of red fox hunting. And our main target here was this Dupont's Lark, very rare and localized bird. This was the sort of habitat that we were looking, and they were running between these little bushes. They're very sneaky. Other lark species as well, like greater short-toed lark. We also went up to another lake in the area, where we tried to catch up with a few extra water birds. Here we saw purple herons and what else? Collared prating coals, and yeah, lots of other interesting things. We went back to Belchite, and just near town they had this nice canyon that was quite good for raptors, vultures and things. So we went to check that out. This is what it looked like. Saw some nice kind of open country birds here. Corn bunting, booted eagles were quite common there. Black-eared wheatear, a little bit distant. We also had nice things like Pyrenean ibex. Yeah, it was quite cool. Back again to the hotel. Really good hearty food. All these kind of potato dishes and fantastic salads, different goat cheeses and things like that. Olives, really nice. We were on our way to the final part of the tour, which was birding the wetlands. We were supposed to go straight east to the Ebro Delta, but we took quite a long detour, almost as far down as Valencia, and we went to a place called Mallos de Riglos, looking for a very specific target. This was, there was like a track along the coast here with lots of nice reed bears and pools. And this is a bird that we had missed earlier in the European intro tour at La Doñana because it was so wet we couldn't get to some of the places. Yeah, we really wanted to see this bird. This is a very special bird, the white-headed duck, an endangered species. This is a male here and a female. Did see a lot of other stuff, lots of terns and gulls and things like that. Common terns, whiskered terns, Mediterranean gulls, Ordwin's gulls. Yeah, it was a really nice reserve. After a very successful morning's birding there, we drove up the coast to a place called Deltebre, a town in the middle of the Ebro Delta. And in the afternoon, we went out to one of the local birding sites. A lot of different spots to go birding around Deltebre. Found a really nice place, more black-winged stilts. This was another bird that we were looking for called the slender-billed gull, quite a rare gull. And another bird that we'd missed earlier in the trip, the western swampen, another one that's often seen around La Doñana. So yeah, we were really kind of playing catch-up at the end of the tour here. We caught it right in the middle of a festival going on, and on the way back from birding, we actually got stuck behind this procession. Yeah, all the local people were out banging drums and stuff. Yeah, so it was quite cool. Really nice food here again, lots of nice cheeses. We went out late at night nearby. With the timing of the tour, it was just the beginning of the breeding season for certain species, and this migrant, the European scops owl, had just been seen in a local town, and we went along and managed to catch up with that as well. One of our last birding sites was on the other side of the peninsula, Mirador David Bigas, one of the top places to go birding on the Ebro Delta. And very nice habitat here. We were catching some migrants coming through, like western yellow wagtails. Again, a lot of gulls and terns. It's a yellow-legged gull. More purple herons. And this was another bird that we were really hoping for, called the Eurasian penduline tit. Tiny little bird, found in reed beds, quite hard to find. Lots of greater flamingos there as well. And one final site on the tour was a little fishing port just south of here. And here we were looking for better views of one or two birds. We had the best views of the rare Ordwin's gull here. And we were also looking out to sea, trying to pick up one or two tube noses as well. And that was our last birding site of the trip. We made our way back to Barcelona, where we'd started this tour. Back to the airport. We stayed in an airport hotel overnight and flew out the next day. Just going to finish by showing you the eBird trip report. Again, 143 species, almost half of which were photographed. Just wanted to show you a combined trip report that I made of the 2 Spain tours. This got us up to, close to 200 species. So that's the sort of range that you would be expecting if you did both tours. I've got all my photos of birds and locations on there, so the link for that is in the PDF trip report. and also a link to my iNaturalist page. So that was the end of our time in Spain. Really wonderful trip. Fantastic food, great scenery, good range of birds and other wildlife. Really fun trip. If it looks like your cup of tea, please do reach out and let us know, and we can give you some more information. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you one day on a Spain tour with tropical birding. Take care. Bye.